I think this is about Gen Z dating because the first half hour or so is all about what happens before he gets his wish and how dysfunctional this entire friend group is and how not in touch with the feelings they are and how unable they are at navigating social situations and especially difficult situations. The possession or the effects of the wish basically just put them in a situation where they have to confront what they're really feeling and what they've been hiding away because it's too cringe or whatever. I think this might be the first movie that actually portrays Gen Z characters in a sympathetic light that I've seen. Like, I'm sure they're out there, but usually because it's millennials writing movies, Gen Z is usually the weird kids who talk weird and who have who are emotionally maladjusted and who are just weird. But here they are really humanized. I don't know how realistic this is and how representative this is, but I've kind of got this feeling, and just based on kind of what people talk about and how people talk, is that Gen Z seems to be hyper sensitive to how other people perceive them, which makes a lot of sense if you are the first generation that grew up around social media or where social media always existed and where anybody, like anything you do in public could be recorded anytime and a hate mob could descend on you. If I grew up in that kind of, like, I was like in my like 20 when Facebook came live, right? And I didn't use it. I didn't use social media until many years later. But like this whole idea of everything you do, it gets documented, it gets judged by other people. This movie kind of shows what happens when an entire generation is like this, right? Because in the entire first half movie, like, these people are incapable of confronting anybody, or like even after Bear has made his wish, Nikki essentially just asks him inside, right? And it's actually like she could not show more interest in him, right? And he's still paralyzed and is still afraid of saying or doing the wrong thing. It seems to me like the wish is kind of a metaphor for what it would take for people like this to actually have a relationship. And honestly, I've not seen this before in another movie in this way. Curry Barker is 26. That means he's on the older end of Gen Z, I think. So this is a movie about Gen Z, made by Gen Z, that is watched by millennials. And the millennials love it. The weird thing is, other cheap horror movies, it's mostly Gen Z. And they tend to go to horror movies to laugh at them, even like movies that are meant to be serious. And here we have a very awkward and very cringy movie that tells essentially the story of Gen Z. And it's millennials watching it and they find it funny.